And welcome back. Opposition parties in the Eastern Cape are calling for the removal of Premier Oscar Mabuyane after a damning report by the Public Protector stating that public funds were used to make renovations at his East London home. The Public Protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane releasing that report on the team's investigation into how money meant to be used for transportation of people to a memorial service for the late Winnie Madikizela-Mandela in 2018 was spent. We joined now by Ongama Mtimka, who's a political analyst. A very good evening to you, Ongama, and thank you so much for speaking to us. So, the political parties, the opposition parties saying that this is so systemic that there is a criminal network that pretty much runs the province. But my question was, there are systems in place to do those checks and balances. Why does it continue? And I'd like to hear from you. What are your thoughts around this?
Good afternoon, SABC and your viewers. So that's an interesting point to start from. First of all, Mr. Bam, as we understand things, started this process by opening a case. And throughout the time that the ANC Integrity Commission was looking at this matter, and obviously the time that the Public Protector was looking at it, a question at the back of my mind was, why is the criminal investigation process slow to arrive at any, a significant milestone that we know of as a public, especially given the fact that Mr. Bam deposed these affidavits a long time ago. So to ask that question, in fact, is the right thing to do as to what extent do we have not only a criminal political network, but to what extent do they have an overbearing hold on law enforcement processes here? So without the work, which I think is telling, that Busisiwe Mkhwebane has done here, we would still be in the dark if we relied on the criminal justice system to investigate this matter and arrive at a conclusion. So that we now have a report that kind of verifies the claims, notwithstanding the contradictory statements that have been, the affidavits that were furnished, which Busisiwe Mkhwebane, by the way, followed through to establish what the truth may be. We at least have an account of what happened, which appears a lot more credible, backed up with those banking details, correspondence that has been cited, and a basically senseless defense from the local municipality. So I've answered your question in a long way, it's episode to say, people who are alleging that there's a criminal syndicate may be pointing to, why things have been slow as far as the government process is concerned and the criminal process is concerned. And that's a lot more chilling for me. The fact that criminal investigations can be opened or charges can be laid, and politicians, apparent or whatever the inexplicable delay may arise from, have a hold on that process, such that you need a public protector to come in order to actually gain some traction in terms of verifying what really happened.
So I think also the people of South Africa have been told on some occasions that the way things work at national is not the way things work at provincial level, at municipal level, at legislative levels. And in this case, we're talking about an amount of 2.2 million rand. And the MEC for Human Settlements is mentioned as being complicit, including the municipal manager. So the Public Protector spoke about an email in which the Premier says, and it was mentioned by the political parties as well, about renovations that will improve the flow of one room through the area. So that seems rather blatant. My question then is that in the lines of reportage, how did we get here? And how are people supposed to believe that the monies that are budgeted for service delivery are safe if things happen in such a brazen manner and openly down from the value chain?
Yeah, so a number of things here, Tsepiso. If the account by Mr. Bam is to be believed as evidenced by the bank statements, the invoices, and the correspondence that's been cited, then it suggests that the calls should be both for MEC Babalo Madikizela and Premier Oscar Mabuyane to resign. And that's important. And the ANC actually needs to also take a party political process here that protects the people of the province. Why? Because both these politicians are running for leading the province if the reports are anything to go by. So the party, and in fact, this report nullifies the reprieve that the Provincial Integrity Committee gave, because I quite agree, even though initially when I started reading the report, I was anxious that Busisiwe Mkhwebane is using balance of probabilities as far as the Premier Oscar Mabuyane is concerned. But I think that that's all that she would have been left with, given the fact that, one, indeed, there's email correspondence where to the architect reference is made about him allegedly probing the amount that was being charged, while at the same time he says, well, I received the money duly because I borrowed it from Babalo Madikizela, and this, by the way, and the evidence of the loan agreement between the two parties was what the ANC Integrity Commission in the province used in order to clear Oscar Mabuyane for him to pave his way to become a premier or retain his position. I can't quite remember now. Now, the issue is, if Babalo Madikizela is followed through, maybe what Busisiwe Mkhwebane has relied on a balance of probabilities can actually be verified as to the exact nature of the conditions of that loan agreement between him and Oscar Mabuyane. Did Oscar Mabuyane know, for example, that in fact this loan agreement was meant to pacify what otherwise was extraction of public funds for his benefit? So that's crucial that's crucial to establish.
The public protector talks about the MLM and the MFMAs and the kind of remedial action that should be taken afterwards. But the question is, are these useless? Are politicians now ignoring these safety nets to protect public funds? Yeah, so first of all, one would hope that speedily action is taken against the municipal manager there at the former Mbizana local municipality by the council. But my fear is that this conspiracy seems to involve a whole lot of stakeholders. And in fact, the stakeholders that need to take action may be held captive by whatever power network or source of power that these politicians had in order to, in the first place, craft a transaction of this nature and actually ensure that it is instituted across provincial and local, across provincial departments and local municipality. So there's a lot that needs to be unearthed here. And so the investigation, which further still needs to be made, may lead to that. But my anxiety is the seemingly captive nature of law enforcement in the province, because nothing explains these delays except that there may be a hand that actually is derailing the investigations here, which is making this whole situation a lot more chilling, because you don't know what else do this nexus between politicians and law enforcement agencies controls in the province. Are we in a gangster state that is protected by its hold on law enforcement? That's an important question to be answered in the light of these delays. So this may be a tip of an iceberg, actually. Thank you so much for your time and insights. Ongama Mtimka, political analyst, and we take you now to your top stories.